Hello everyone. It's been a while since my last update, so I thought I'd better do something. I've been working on the layout, but basically doing lots of boring stuff like wiring and maintenance. And I got an extra my second switcher shunter out of the box. Try it out. At the moment I have a couple of commuter EMUs running just for some activity in the background whilst I go through what's been going on. And this is the new EMU that you haven't seen before, the one I spent a while with some TLC on the motor and putting in a new decoder because it wasn't running very well. But it's a very iconic EMU for Dutch railways with a really nice aerodynamic snout to it as well. There we have the rail crossing in operation as well. Okay, continuing on. And ta-da! I'm sure you all saw and noticed as we were panning around, I finally completed the Northern Power and Light kit from Walthers. On this layout representing an older coal-fired power plant of the PEN, which is on the label there, the Provinciale Elektriciteitsmaatschappij van Noord-Holland, the Provincial Electric Company of North Holland. Layout set in the 70s, and at that time still a lot of the electric, gas and waterworks were local government owned before liberalisation took up and they were privatised. So this is a PEN power plant, PEN Centrale for the Dutch looking. Of course, I have to make a special mention to modeler man Mike. Put his name up at the bottom for his great video on helping, giving out great ideas on how to build this thing. Couldn't have done it without him, particularly on the weathering. I've done my own little bit on that. And of course Robert at CSX Mad has also just recently completed his. So we're all sort of doing the same thing at the moment. So close up, I have got some light in. I'll come back to this thing in a minute. It's a coal-fired plant. I've put a light inside. You can see, let me turn down the main light here, and you can then see there's light inside, and if you look closely you should be able to see the green painted turbine generators inside. This is the turbine side and the other side is the boiler side, of course. It's in operation. There's a bit of smoke coming out of the stack. Whether that's really good enough, I don't know, but for the time being, at least it looks like it's in operation. It's coal-fired, as I mentioned before. This will be the coal siding for delivering coal to the plant. And what I have here is basically a mock-up of what I want to build in styrene. Soon is a mock-up of the coal unloading system, whatever that may be. It might be cranes, there'll be a dumper underneath, there might even be a rotary car unloader, you know, use your imagination type of thing. So we'll have the coal cars coming into the siding here, and they'll be unloaded somehow in this coal unloading shed. Okay, that's the power plant in place. Of course, we need to do all the detailing, fences, parking spots, roads, all the other stuff that needs to take place here as well. But at least that's something that's been updated on the layout recently. Also, another update on the layout is I have decided, it is the 70s, I have decided that container transport has started to take place albeit the fancy unloading systems are not available yet on the layout. So we've got a container here being handled by a standard crane. By a standard crane. We've got a stack of containers here, mostly 20 foot at this time. The containers are, there's a site where you can get these containers printed out on paper. Let's see if that's in, this is an evergreen one, etc. And I've just printed those out and placed them around a block so that we can stack them up, stick them on cars, etc. So I'll have a limited amount of intermodal or container transport on the layout now as well, and they'll mostly go to the harbour area here for export by ship, and interchanging perhaps to Germany and Europe, the next level. Fuel facility here, a diesel fuel facility with some tanks, and this, I'm assuming, is connected to, this is a fire extinguisher tower, just in case you know, something catches fire. So that all needs to be completed yet. I've just mocked it up in place where it's approximately going to go. So that's ready for all the detailing and placement on the layout. I haven't even fixed these tracks yet, waiting for the proper dimensions. Okay, we've moved over to the yard area, and finally starting to get Kaifuk Yard in place. I've got a control panel now, so I can operate some switches. The double slips here as well, and I've still got some switches here which are manual, which I'll eventually get round to automating as well, and they'll all be in these. Again, like all the other things on the layout at the moment, this panel is temporary. Alright, over this side I have added lighting. The Health and Safety Authority required that the owner council add lighting, safety lighting to the level crossing over there, so I will turn off the lights a little, and you can see now that that crossing now has lights added for the safety of our beloved motorists. I'll bring the daylight back out, the lights can go off again. In this area, I've here you can see I've purchased some VAM cars. These cars. The VAM stands for Trash Removal Company, the Vuilafvoermaatschappij, and they were very active in the 70s and 80s as trash removal. And there was a large landfill in the north of Holland, and these cars would be filled at towns at their local trash centers, and then move on to the major landfill in the north of Holland and be dumped, and these sides of the containers would open up and the trash could be moved out. The reason I've got them as well is you can see a trash car here. I'm going to build a, probably mostly scratch build, a trash, they call it a recycling center, but at the end of the day it's trucks bring the trash, and there'll be some bins. Let me see if we can get that in. There'll be some bins here with the separation of you know, metals and woods and papers and stuff. People can bring in their cars and dump their materials. The local council trucks can dump directly into the trash center, and this will be a covered area here, so that there'll be some mechanism to fill these cars, and they will then be picked up by trains and moved to the north of Holland. to be dumped. So that's this area basically covered now. Also, I'm starting to fill up the yard a little bit with some activity. Again, this house, well, it's really a roadside restaurant. With people inside here. Be placing that somewhere here. I think a house under construction here maybe. Because this will be an open area with parking area for the industries, and they can get a lunch here, I suppose, something like that. Again, I'll have. Not sure whether it'll still remain the paper plant here, but definitely the steel. You can see that. Yeah, the steel mill will go here. Pick up the coil steel and to receive trash metals. So this is finally getting somewhere to where it needs to go, and I can then start building. And then I can finally start building the upper level. Okay, one item of interest on this update might be have a look at the top and the bottom layer. If I get up close, one of the things to look at is the cleaning up the underside of the top layer with all the wires and decoders and God knows what. That might this is probably about halfway or even less wide at the moment. So I need to come up with a way of cleaning that up for sessions with people and for general appearance. One thing I've been thinking about is using old pillowcases or sheets or cloth anyway with Velcro, and I've mocked this piece up here just to give you an idea and give you thoughts, and maybe there are other ways of doing it as well. So this just Velcros up to there. This piece Velcros up to there, and there's a little additional piece here to make it nice and straight. So that's a way of cleaning up the underside, getting rid of all the wire views, and a bit of a closer look there. That's what I've been thinking of doing. So between the underside supports along the bottom of the layer there is to add a cloth. Obviously this is just an old work cloth I've been using just to experiment with. So it'll be some sort of clean cloth. I may even get a blue cloth to represent sky. I don't know yet. But give me an idea. I could also do it with hardboard perhaps, but this seems to be a nice easy way of doing it, getting rid of all the wires on the underneath side so that we can concentrate on what we're doing down here. Okay. Any thoughts or suggestions? Welcome. To finish up, we'll take a little cab ride on this EMU Mat 54 Class 54 called Hondenkop, or Dog's Head, because of the shape of the nose. But we'll get in the cab with the driver and have a quick run around. Here we go. Yeah? It's cold and the wind is blowing outside, and it's the dark days before Christmas, as they call it here. So we'll have more time on the layout as we go along, as I'm sure most of you also will. So until perhaps near Christmas time for another update. Have fun, everybody. Continue building, and I'll continue watching. Bye.